Hey everybody, Crab and Cask covered. Hey, today we're going to talk about the Alex Murdaugh trial. Yay! But we're going to talk about exculpatory evidence, meaning Brady violations of evidence that was withheld from the Colleton County grand jury to get an indictment for the murder charge, drop the ass, of one Alex Murdaugh. And while mind-blowing stuff, we're going to go through some video clips. I'm going to tell you exactly how it was done. It's been sitting right out in the open the whole time. Oh my God, let's watch a video and let's go talk about it.
And you were actively investigating whether or not the t-shirt had evidence of high velocity blood spatter, which you would expect to find on someone who's shooting Paul.
Backspatter, yes.
Backspatter. And your agency, in fact, engaged an expert out of state to give his assessment on whether there was high velocity backspatter on the t-shirt, shorts, or any part of the clothing, right?
Yes, we asked an individual to examine it to look for backspatter.
And that was after it had been sprayed with, the shirt had been sprayed with LCV to see if there was any indication of blood on the shirt.
Yes.
Okay. And
Okay, that last part is extremely important. I want you to put a pin in it. I want you to remember that. When he says that the LCV, when Griffin said the LCV test was already performed, okay, and shirt had turned blue, purple, and Owen said, yes, remember that important piece of information. Because what's coming next? It's going to blow you away.
now, when you presented this case to the Colleton County grand jury to obtain a true bill indictment, you testified under oath that an expert had found multiple.
Is he talking about grand jury presentation? Carlton County, you can't, it's not a record of a county grand jury.
Ladies and gentlemen, is he talking about grand jury information? Okay, what? Yeah, he is. And he screwed up. Because if I was there, we'd have busted your ass. It's coming. Hold on.
Didn't you state that an expert found multiple particles of blood spatter on the shoulders and front of Alex's shirt? Isn't that correct?
Yes.
And is that what you told the Colleton County grand jury?
Yes.
However, what SLED and this expert out in Oklahoma overlooked is Agent Zapata's confirmatory blood testing, about which she testified earlier in this trial, that out of 74 cuttings from Alex's t-shirt, 0 tested positive for human blood. Y'all completely overlooked the fact that when you did a human tracing test to confirm whether it's blood, it came up negative. And wasn't that overlooked?
I had never seen that report.
And is that what you told the Colleton County grand jury? Did you see him look to his left? You know who he was looking at before he answered that question? Creighton Waters. Why would he do that? Go on.
Negative. And wasn't that overlooked?
I had never seen that report.
Well, when did you see the report?
November of 2022.
After Alec had been indicted and months from trial. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, so he never got the email. Oh, November of 2022. November of 2022 is when he got the email. Okay. Well, let's go through some receipts, shall we? And then I'm going to ask you a very important question. Remember when I told you to put a pin in that? Let's go through the receipts. So now we know SLED agent, blood expert Sarah Zapata, she emailed David Owen on June 25th, on August 10th, and November 10th of 2021. Now, does this guy just not do his job and check email for over a year and a half? June of 2021, and he gets the email in November of 2022. You believe that for a second? But before we get into the question, I want you to watch David Owen admit to withholding exculpatory evidence in the Michael Colucci case. Ready?
And during that conversation, the AG's office told you that Barbara Moore said she told you about that explicit suicidal statement during your August 5th, 2015 meeting with her.
Mrs. Moore told me that statement.
So let me pull that pin out and let's break this down for you. We already know that David Owen has admitted on the stand in the Michael Colucci case of withholding exculpatory evidence. That Judge Robert Young, through those Schmurder cases, dropped the S completely out because of what David Owen withheld from the grand jury. Yes. Okay. So we know he's done it before. Now, what you have to remember is that he said he didn't receive those emails. Okay. So you saw when she sent them. You saw the documents. You saw the dates. Okay. So let's just say he's telling the truth and he didn't receive those emails. But here's the question. And he's a SLED agent. I ran this by retired law enforcement. The picture he sent to Tom Bevel had the blue-purple dye all over it. That, to anybody in law enforcement, is a key indicator that that shirt has undergone LCV testing for blood. So the question is, if you didn't receive the emails about the blood tests from Zara Sabata, where'd you get the picture of the t-shirt, blue-purple t-shirt, to send to Tom Bevel? And why, if you got that from Sarah Zapata, that would mean you lied to Jim Griffin on the stand. And that would mean you withheld exculpatory evidence to the Colleton County grand jury that proved from Sarah Zapata, who works for SLED, her blood test were negative for human blood, negative for DNA, negative for hair. You withheld that because any good law enforcement officer, especially one who was SLED Agent of the Year, would see a shirt. If you didn't receive the email, you would see a shirt that's blue-purple like that. You go, oh, that thing has had LCV test done to it. I better call somebody over at the blood testing department and see what the results were. But no, he didn't. Then he sent the shirt to Tom Bevel, who responded back and said, we don't find any high-velocity backspatter. Oh, so what's he do? Meets with Lieutenant Gant, and then David Owen flies out to Oklahoma, and lo and behold, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, oh yeah, hey, we found over 100 of them. When typically after an LCV test, high-velocity backspatter is nearly impossible. Not impossible, but nearly impossible to detect because of the way it just destroys what you're going to be looking for in high-velocity backspatter. So, withheld. How did you get the picture? How did you get the picture of the t-shirt that was already had its LCV test done to it? Where did you get it from? Who gave it to you? Because you sent it to Tom Bevel. That's called withholding evidence. That's you presented to the Colleton County grand jury high-velocity blood spatter when you know there was no blood, no DNA, no hair, none. That is what you should have presented. Oh, we're going to dig deeper into this. Crazy. Crown and Cask out.